conduct this summit professionally. We hope you all have chosen a quiet seating location. We encourage you to disable notifications, close all running applications, and silence your smartphone for the maximum immersive experience. The moderators will unmute the speakers when it is their turn to speak. Please, this is done to minimize any disruption. Your questions can be sent to our chat moderator. Let us all remind ourselves the mission and core values of the Toastmasters International. We empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. Our core values: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Just give us a few minutes until it becomes 9 a.m. and then we will proceed. Good morning, dear leaders, speakers, and Toastmasters of District 20. We are about to begin. Toastmaster International Past District, Past President, Distinguished Toastmaster Pat Johnson, Past Region 11, Advisor Distinguished Toastmaster Ali Shahbaz Ali, Region 11 Advisor Distinguished Toastmaster James Edward Tarouk, District 20 Director Distinguished Toastmaster Muhammad Salim, District 20 Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Alifia Lakdawala, District 20 Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah, current, past, and future region, district, division, and area officials. Welcome to the District 20 Toastmaster Corporate Summit 2021. It is a great honor for me to be your Master of Ceremonies today. I am Toastmaster Hanan Haloush, and I extend a warm welcome to all of you. Having worked at various corporates for more than 20 years, I believe that Toastmasters is tailored to speaking in the workplace because it not only provides the tools for effective communication between employees and teams, but also help you become a better leader. Today's summit is the brainchild of Distinguished Toastmaster DTM Khalid Abdullah, our District 20 Club Growth Director. Toastmasters produce employees that can think on their feet, communicate clearly in any setting, and be competent managers while staying cost-effective and affordable. Today's Corporate Summit 2021 will present to you a spectrum of opportunities, valuable insights, clarity about how this time-tested program can benefit corporate members. Before we move on to the main event, let us listen to some of our leading lights who lead us in District 20. Our first leading light is known by many names, but the most popular is being Mr. Fix-It. His tagline, "No problem. This amazing person has the capability to solve anything, everything, and all things in Toastmasters." Hailing from the Adari Toastmaster Club, this Grandmaster is a well-traveled expert who has navigated the Toastmaster journey with immense success since 2002, an eloquent speaker, a vocal leader, a charismatic coach with a 24/7 work ethic. He is our Supremo, our leader of District 20. Please put your hands together for the District 20 Director, distinguished Toastmaster Muhammad Salim. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Muhammad Salim.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Madam Hanan Aluch. That was really, had made my day today. And first, let me acknowledge the presence of a few of our dignitaries over here. Today, we have DTM Pat Johnson. She is the regional advisor and past international president, actually. That is what really is a topic today. And we do have among us the program quality director, DTM Malifia Lakrawala, the club growth director, DTM Khalid Abdullah. And among the audience, I did see the past district governor of District 79, DTM Philip Demelo. And we do have division directors, area directors. A warm good morning to you all. I don't want to take much of time because we need to listen to the panelist, his main speaker, DTM Pat Johnson. That's the reason we are here. So I wouldn't take much of the time. Now, talking about DTM Pat Johnson, actually, my first meeting with her was in 2018 International Convention held in Chicago. And I had seen her presenting on the corporate program. We do mentioned that community clubs, whereas she insisted on corporate program. That is where it really, touched my, thoughts. And I was wondering what really she is talking about actually. There were two sessions. One was from DTM Pat Johnson and another session was from value selling concept actually. After returning back to Bahrain, I was pondering and I had combined both actually. And I really started a program called Value Added Toastmasters actually. Now looking at the point where we were like thinking of what are the pitfalls in corporate club, I had taken the words of DTM Pat Johnson and I looked for clubs which have been successful. The one club which really, attracted me or really made a difference in corporate club was Babco Toastmasters actually. Not just because DTM Khalid Abdullah is from Babco Toastmasters, but the club has been sustaining for over 2 decades and I have seen that the club had made a huge impact actually in terms of Toastmasters actually. Just wondering why this particular club has been successful. And then I have noticed that because not just Toastmasters program they do, apart from that they emphasize on speechcraft programs and they did emphasize on the youth leadership program. These two things really made a difference. Apart from that, they empowered their Toastmasters in their corporate events. Whenever there was a corporate event, one of the Toastmasters was given an opportunity to preside over the meeting or be a master of ceremonies. So what happened is there's another program called INJAS program, especially for the young leaders of Bahrain who are not Toastmasters and which is conducted by the Toastmasters. So I really understood that if you need to have that sustainability in a corporate club, the most important thing is you need to be connected with the community. So these 3 programs really made a huge impact and I had put a 3-step program in the value-added Toastmasters. One is the speechcraft program, the YLP program and the speaker to trainer program, wherein the corporates can help keep their employees trained during their sessions actually. And the in-house trainings will be given priority to the Toastmasters. This is where really DTM Pat Johnson had influenced me a lot actually. And that's where I carried her, all the thoughts actually and had really worked hard. And for your information, when I was a club growth director, we became this medley distinguished district for the very first time actually. That is really, and when DTM Khalid Abdullah had, when we had a discussion on how to have a corporate program and whom to invite, then we said that there is no other person apart from DTM Pat Johnson, and she is the only person in my knowledge actually who's been struggling to revamp the entire corporate program, and this has been presented to the board, and her book has been an inspiration again to me. And this is where we need to really totally change the perception of the corporate clubs with the community clubs. There should be a two distinct program.
I think DTM Salim got cut off. This is the issue with the virtual meetings. Internet is the core thing that you cannot rely on. Shall we proceed, event chair? Okay, great. Thank you very much, DTM Muhammad Salim. Our second leading light says, it is not the destination, but the journey that counts. This is the mantra of this leader. She is a medical professional, a professional physiotherapist who believes in the holistic rehabilitation of her patients. She has been in Toastmaster movement for almost a decade and has served with distinction in her club, area, division, and now the district charming, elegant, ever-present, and the consummate professional. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Program Quality Director of District 20, Distinguished Toastmaster, Alifia Lakdawala.
She is not around, I think.
She's not around?
No. She's at work.
Okay, shall we proceed then to the next leading light?
Okay. Yes, please. Madam Chairperson, but with permission of Madam Chairperson, yes.
Care, clarity, and resolve. These are the cornerstones of the next leadership philosophy. The immediate past president of Babco Toastmasters Club. He has mastered the secret art of being in multiple meetings at the same time while contributing immensely to each and every event he graces. His vision is a healthier and happier District 20. His larger life vision is to serve as a compass to his children and lead them to their journey of curiosity and learning. Please help me welcome District 20 Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah, to address us now. Over to you, CGD.
Thank you so much, Master Ceremonies, Toastmaster Hanan, for the lovely introduction. Past international president and current Region 10 advisor, DTM Pat Johnson. Our own Region 11 advisor, DTM James Tarouk. Our immediate past Region 11 advisor, DTM Ali Shahbaz Ali. District 20 director, DTM Muhammad Salim. Program Quality Director, although she is not here, but I know she's at work, DTM Alifia Lakdawala. All of the other dignitaries in the house and guests, good morning to all of you. If I had to say whatever I want to say, I might just end up in like DTM Muhammad Salim, who got kicked out by the timer, apology, by the internet. So I will keep it very short. I started not knowing anything about Toastmaster in Babco Toastmaster Club. And I had a vision of the corporate club because I felt the importance of having such program within corporate. And here it is. This is the chance that I could maybe make an impact throughout all of the team members here. A vision was placed to let's join all of the corporate clubs in one umbrella. And this is where we are today. All of the corporate clubs in District 20 and beyond. I can see also the director of Students Affairs and Polytechnic, Sheikh Khalid Al Khalifa, who is here as well. Thank you so much, Sheikh Khalid, for being here with us today, and all of the other dignitaries in the house. And the passion that I have about corporate club made me, even during my self-isolation, who Sheikh Khalid doesn't know about that, to contact 7 corporate clubs, just to expand on what we have and what we do here in Toastmasters. I think you are in the right place, all of the corporate members around. I wish you enjoy and you take something from this session today. The main intention behind the session is retention, because currently we have around 9 corporate clubs who are about to renew. So if I can make a difference, and this is, I'm quoting DTM Pat, if we can make a difference to only one of those to be renewed and another one to get into the world of Toastmasters, I think this event would achieve its purpose. Thank you so much all for being here. I look forward to hearing from DTM Pat, so I'll not take long, and over to you, Toastmaster Hanan.
Thank you, DTM Khaled. Let's hear now from the lady herself, the event chair, a PR specialist by profession. She has reaped the benefits of leadership and communication by participating actively in the Toastmasters movement since 2018. With her unrivaled consistency, courage, curiosity, and competence, she has been a catalyst for change in the PR arena, not only to the fraternity, but also to the companies she has worked with till date. She has led award-winning PR campaigns, signature leadership events, and crafted memorable meeting experiences over her term in Toastmasters. Let us join hands to welcome our event chairperson, Toastmaster Manisha Dinadora. Over to you, Manisha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hanan. Toastmasters International Past President, Distinguished Toastmaster Pat Johnson, Past Region 11 Advisor, Distinguished Toastmaster Shabazz Ali, Region 11 Advisor, Distinguished Toastmaster James Edward Taruk, District 20 Distinguished Toastmaster, District 20 Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Mohammed Salim, District 20 Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah. Fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests, good morning. It has been my utmost pleasure to be the chairperson of Toastmasters Corporate Summit. Toastmasters International is a global network of clubs which teaches public speaking and leadership skills. Since its maiden meeting on 22nd of October 1924 to today, Toastmasters International education program has been developed and evolved for almost a century. Toastmasters corporate clubs helps corporates to create a safe place for employees to speak, enhance communication efficiency, master specific competencies of the staff, and engage, empower, and motivate employees. Furthermore, Toastmasters corporate clubs provides effective solutions for common corporate communication challenges, such as constant communication overload, communicate without context, and lack of internal transparency. It has been the dream of our District 20 Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah, to let the world hear of the rewards of the Toastmasters corporate clubs. His zest to help corporates to intensify the communication efficiency was the inception of Toastmasters Corporate Summit. 2 weeks back, the Corporate Summit was only an aspiration which resided on our minds. With the dedication, commitment, and perseverance of my dear team, DTM Hisham Jifri, DTM Alan Paul, Toastmaster Naomi Divyanjali, Toastmaster B.G. Gittins, and many other humble, competent, and capable leaders, here we are today, making the Corporate Summit a reality. I sincerely hope you will enjoy and be energized with our power-packed line of program, which will unravel the new dimensions of corporate communication. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Back to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Madam Event Chair. Our next segment is an evolution of the traditional banner march. We are proud to honor and recognize our corporate clubs through the Corporate Club Showcase. Let us enjoy the Corporate Club Showcase. Thank you very much. I think we are now ready for our next amazing keynote speaker. She's an educator, a speaker, author, leader, and Toastmaster. There are less than 100 people in history who has achieved what our keynote speaker has achieved. A past international president of Toastmaster International, she has traveled the world over the last 2 decades in her capacity as a leader and educator. She is the recipient of the President's Citation Award and currently serves as Region 10 Advisor for Europe and the UK, author of Building and Sustaining Vibrant and Sustainable Toastmasters Programs in the Corporations. Our keynote speaker is a passionate coach, unlocking the potential in people as they search for their greatest version of their authentic self. She is an affiliate coach at Accomplishment Coaching and also has a world-class speaker coach certification. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome to the screen our keynote speaker, all the way from beautiful Canada, distinguished Toastmaster Pat Johnson. Over to you, DTM Pat.
Thank you so much, Master of Ceremonies. I wish to greet all the current leaders of District 20 and other districts that may be joining us here today. Also the past leaders that I've met and know by reputation, as well as those future leaders who aspire to lead districts in Toastmasters, both leading a district, a group of people, but leading ourselves as well. Also, I'd like to acknowledge my colleague, Region Advisor James, and it's great for you to be here to support me. And those of you that I've met and know as personal friends, thank you for appearing and your support, both for the district, the corporate summit, and our Club Growth Directors Initiative, as well as supporting the leaders in the district and the development of strong, vibrant Toastmasters programs within corporations. So a little bit about how I became so passionate about Toastmasters being in corporations. First of all, my background was in running education programs within corporations where I worked. Some of the corporations I worked were branches of government, and so they were government agencies. Some of them were crown corporations, which was a bit of a different organization and relationship to the government, and then actual self-standing free enterprise corporations. So I had a variety of those types of experiences, and I was responsible for learning and development within that organization. As a member of many years of Toastmasters, when I sat in that office as that head, that director of learning and development, responsible to ensure that the employees of that corporation got the education they needed to do their job, I started thinking of all the times that I'd gone with Club Growth Directors on visits for Toastmasters to talk to corporations, to talk to them about the skills that Toastmasters would actually bring into their workplace. And I had a number of revelations. The first one was that in my experience, most Toastmasters programs that were set up inside of corporations actually failed because of lack of exposure to Toastmasters outside of their just small meetings. That they didn't get to the area, they didn't get to the division, they didn't know there was a district. They had no idea that there was an international organization where they could actually end up being a leader of. Like DTM Mohammed Murad from Bahrain is the international president. People didn't know that in a lot of the corporate environments. They also failed to go to training, where we get our leadership training, when we go to district officer training, when we go to club officer training, that's where we meet other leaders. That's when we discover that we've got leadership potential that can be developed. That's where we get invited to be an area or a division director. So they were missing out on all those opportunities. And soon they became smaller and more insular and got quite, for me, I'll use the word bored with themselves. They just didn't see the scope and the expansion and the potential for them in that situation. The other thing that I noticed happened for those clubs that were built in the corporations is that they really depended on the goodwill and the strength and the forbearance and the power of persuasion of one or two Toastmasters in-house in that corporation, who went down the hallways, recruited their friends, begged for an office or a meeting space, struggled to get collection of dues paid, and they seemed to be totally responsible. And after they got tired in 3 or 4 years of having this project in addition to their job, they dropped out, and we often lost that club in the corporation. When I looked at this from my chair in my office, I went, I would not, in all honesty, although I love the Toastmaster program, I would not allow it to come into my corporation because there wasn't enough promotion of the entire program. There wasn't enough collaboration with me to make sure that the needs, the identified learning needs of my employees, who I was responsible to make them being met, to make sure that they were met, there wasn't enough connection with the Toastmasters program. They would go off and do their own thing, and I'd be left out of that equation. So while I was responsible for it, responsible for paying for it, bringing them in, allowing the employees to have time to go, I didn't get a report. I didn't get any information. And after about 6 or 9 months, I might not even be aware that they still exist. So I sat down as a result of that, and I said, this really has to be done differently. And I looked back at some of my experience and how I built Toastmasters in the corporations. And I thought, I'm on to something, because those programs that I was building were still in existence in some very challenging environments. After 20 years, they were still thriving. So I went, what did I do? And that's when I sat down and wrote my book that our Master of Ceremonies actually referenced today. And so thank you for that. It was there when I started really talking to world headquarters about it and saying, you know, as a past president, I don't want to step on Toastmasters. I don't want to step over boundaries. I don't want to break rules, but I want to be vocal about what works and what doesn't work in the corporate world. And at that point in time, Sally Newell-Cohen, who was in second in command, and Daniel Rex, who is CEO, said, go for it. And so they approved my book and approved me to speak at the convention. And so we launched my ideas, and they've grown in many, many different ways to suit the culture and the environment where the ideas go. And so I'm ever grateful for that. So that's how we end up where I am today. Still passionate about Toastmasters in the corporate world. But I want to talk about just a second of what I consider a corporate program or a corporate club, because we often charter and we say, oh, this is a corporate club or a community club. That sometimes changes over years. We might start being a corporate club because it's just for the employees of that corporation. Sometimes we see corporations say, we can't sustain this, let's open it up to our neighbors. And so they have other people from other walks of life or other companies come in. To me, that now becomes a community club. It doesn't become a community club necessarily on the Toastmasters or the club constitution, because it's not always changed. But that's what I would consider a community club. So for me, a corporate program is when it's contained, when it's employees of that organization. Now, it could be a huge global organization, but that they're contained and there's a restriction to it. So that's the first criteria for corporate for me. Also, and these are optional, within a corporate Toastmasters program, there's many variations. But one of the things that I like to do when I talk to corporations, and this applies for those of you that are struggling, if you're struggling with your club membership within corporations, or you're looking for different ways of setting it up, couple of things that I like to do. I go into a corporation now and I ask a whole bunch of questions. I don't tell them a lot. I find out, how do you run your training? Are your training programs for your employees run through a central department? If so, let's talk to that department. Does your organization pay for training of your employees regularly? So if they're taking project management, or they're taking cultural sensitivity, or they're taking software programs, how is that? Do they take that after work hours? Is that expected after work hours? Does it happen during work hours? Is it the corporation? Or do employees pay for their own and they're reimbursed upon successful completion? Or it's just always that we pay for our own development? So I want to find out what the corporation does. How do they promote their training? How are their training programs put out? Do they have to be recommended by supervisors and managers, or can they self-nominate for training events? Do they go through their supervisor? Do they go to the head office to do it? All those kinds of things I want to know about the corporation where I'm working, either to reestablish, rebuild, or to build a new Toastmasters program. Because I want the Toastmasters curriculum to walk in that door, sit down. I'm making the curriculum like a person, but bring the curriculum and install it into that corporation like all the other training that happens in that corporation. And then I'm very clear at the very beginning that the corporation needs to understand some very unique things about the Toastmasters program. First of all, because it's very different from other training that happens. So this is important to share with the corporation so that they know what to expect, what they're supporting, that it's a self-paced program. People are not going to be finished in 2 weeks. People are not going to go like project management, go for 4 months and graduate. That's not how Toastmasters runs. Toastmasters also is experiential learning. So we go into a room every week to practice skills. And every week we walk out of that practice session a bit better at our listening, thinking, speaking, leadership skills, because we practice. So we're like a laboratory where we get some information and then we practice. And I tell you what you could do better. You tell me what I could do better. And then we practice it some more. So we're always building those skills and it's ongoing. The Toastmaster program, and I talked to the learning departments or the HR department about this, the Toastmaster program is built on adult education principles. It was built by adult educators. And it was also important that we had over 300 competencies that were built into the Pathways program. That's important for professional departments to know that this is competency-based training, experiential, which is rare in the workplace. So as a result of it being self-paced program, a couple of things that are really important to articulate very clearly to corporations is that there's no pass or fail in Toastmasters. So I've had, and as a result, there's no graduation. So I've had supervisors when I was in the corporate world come to me and say, Pat, could you help me? Like Jan is one of my employees and I've been sending her to Toastmasters for over 2 years now. And she's just come to me and asked me for another 6 months. Like, does she never pass out of this? Like, is she always failing the class and having to repeat it? Like, what's going on? Why is she still there after 2.5 years? And I said, oh, we need to understand that there is no graduation from Toastmasters. People go as long as they're willing to learn more skills and continue growing. So that was a really important concept for the education department to understand, because that's not how usual training happens in the corporate world. We go into a room, we get training, we come out, we put the binder either on a shelf or we put the documents in a file and it's done, but not in Toastmasters. So I then talk about, and this is for, again, for those of you that are either building new or rebuilding, to talk to the corporate about the transferable skills, but also for us to be aware of all the transferable skills that happen in Toastmasters. And just to name a few, critical thinking. This is, as we listen in our meetings, we're practicing critical thinking. We're listening and we're processing what people are talking about. We're going to give them feedback, so we learn feedback skills, but we have to learn to listen carefully. We're listening for all kinds of things, rate, pace, inflections, tone, bridging, transitions, opening, body, conclusion, point, reason, example, stories, purpose, on and on and on. So our critical and analytical skills are engaged at all times when we're practicing. So that is highly valuable and transferable in the workplace. We have accountability. In Toastmasters, we teach accountability. We sign up. We go on to Easy Speak. We sign up and we hold one another accountable. When I'm general evaluator of my club, I phone up my team and say, I'll see you on Thursday morning. Here's your roles, check into Easy Speak, and we create accountability. And I've seen that develop in one of our members in my home club. And he was so unreliable for many years. And when he wanted to be our club president, I was like, oh. And I had a conversation with him, and the young man had really grown in accountability, and he is a very good president this time because he's learned that experientially. We do a lot of management training in Toastmasters because there's a lot of things that we manage. And so this again transfers over to the workplace. We manage meetings, we manage people, we manage paper, we manage events, we manage time. We manage a lot of projects going on, like the people that have had the experience to put this summit together. Poof, a big team. It doesn't happen. Lots of people can't do this. A whole team, polished professionally, coming together, having 100 and some people online attend an event that you've put together. Lots of people can't do this, but we learn how to either learn how to do it or how to get better at doing it, to bring that teamwork, which brings me to teamwork, another transferable skill in the workplace. And this one is so often so undersold, but we can't lead. Nobody in our organizations can lead unless they can lead a team, because there's nobody to lead. If people don't want to follow you, you can demand it and they'll do it. But what if they want to follow you as a leader when you're the team lead? And we learn that in Toastmasters because we're always giving that feedback. So teamwork. And the other part of teamwork is that that's the place where we build that confidence and self-esteem, that people around us go, you did a great job. And our team cheers for us. And that's what we need often. Like, I don't know about your family, and I say this all the time, but when I walk into a Toastmasters meeting, my friends are excited. I walk up to the lectern and people applaud, right? Do they applaud when you walk up to the lectern when we're in person? We applauded when people were introduced today. When you walk into your home, does your family stand and applaud you? No. That's why I'm still in Toastmasters, because I still haven't got my family trained to stand and applaud when I enter the room. So I keep coming to Toastmasters hoping that my family is going to get the message. But we build strong relationships in Toastmasters. because we develop relationships. And in the corporate, this is an added bonus, because we find out that Khaled is, we find out about him through his speeches. And I won't tell any secrets, Khaled, it's good. I won't share anything here. They have to find out themselves. But we find out about people, and then we go, somebody will say, oh, that Khaled did this. And then I say, oh, that's not the Khaled I know. Right? Because we know him differently. That changes dynamics. It stops some of the gossip and the bad talk that happens at work, because we know one another as people, not just a position, not just what people say. So really important, subtle differences that happen in the workplace as a result of Toastmasters, and how we are vulnerable in Toastmasters because we present and share. We also have presentation skills, formal presentation skills, which is obviously a direct transfer to workplace, because we're always asked to present, even if we're in sales, if we're going out and representing the organization, that's a presentation. So again, we're representing, as well as those interpersonal skills. So when we get stopped in the elevator, or we go into an interview for a job, we can, from table topics, in our impromptu speaking, again, we can hear the question because we're good listeners. We've learned how to listen. We know how to think through the question, and we can respond to it. So we get more promotions in our organization because we're building skills and developing. We develop organizational skills because we have to stay organized. And the feedback skills are an immediate transfer to anybody in the workplace who has people that they're supervising. We learn how to have those difficult conversations, because as leaders, we learn to be courageous, build a plan, deal with difficulties that are happening, meeting management, and setting and meeting goals as well. The other thing that I talk about, just very briefly, will mention that we do strategic planning also in Toastmasters. When we set up our Distinguished Club plan, when we do our district success plan, all of that is strategic planning. It's not just operational, solve today's problems, but we get to strategically plan. We set strategic direction for our club. We build it, we put the objectives in place, we put the people in place, and away we go to achieve those strategic visions. So really important to think deeply about how the skills that we develop and practice weekly in Toastmasters transfer to that workplace. And that links directly to each one of us in our clubs, in our Toastmasters programs, looking at why are we in Toastmasters? So why is Amar in Toastmasters? Why is Rania in Toastmasters? Why is Salim in Toastmasters? Why is Pat in Toastmasters? Why is James in Toastmasters? And we can share that with our club members. And then our mission is to support our members in achieving all that they want, but also keeping current with what we want to achieve. Now, some of you don't know this, but I've been in Toastmasters for over 30 years. Before some of you were born. I've been in Toastmasters for 38 years. I joined when I was 6. But I've always had a why. There was always another reason why I was in Toastmasters, and why I was still in Toastmasters, and why I wanted to go back next year, because I always had another goal to achieve. And that's what kept me involved and keeps me involved. People say, you've been international president. Why would you want to be a region advisor? And I said, because I'm going to meet people like James. I'm going to meet that are other region advisors. I'm going to ask for a region that I know very little about. I'm going to learn lots about Toastmasters in Europe and the United Kingdom. I'm going to learn lots of stuff that I'm not current on. And it's going to be a learning experience. I had a why. And it was a different why than I had 2 years before. I was part of designing pathways, the curriculum, that as we wrote curriculum for pathways. Why? Because it fascinated me, because I could have a committee of 250 people worldwide to bring curriculum ideas together for Toastmasters. That fascinated, kept my brain active. So find your why. And if your club doesn't meet and challenge you to reach your why, find a different club. Find one where you're uncomfortable, where they challenge you, where they call you to be your highest and best. If you're the boss and you're the best in your club, time to find a different club. Now, some of you don't like to hear that because maybe you like to be the best and you like to be the boss. But I'm not the best in my club. And I'm definitely not the boss in my club. And I love my club because they challenge me, because they push me out of my comfort zone every time I do something. There's no protection there, and that's great. So let's look at making sure you look at the transferable skills. Do you get that from your club? If not, what changes do you have to make? Maybe you change the club, not you change to go to a different club. Maybe you create that club to be more demanding and a higher standard of excellence. So let's look at a couple of things that I love to do and I love to see in corporate programs, of Toastmaster corporate programs. One of the things that I find keeps a Toastmaster meeting exciting week to week. Now, I've gone to Toastmasters for 38 years every week. I don't think I've missed, I don't know, I can't remember how many. I would miss very, very few meetings in that 38 years. I'm afraid to miss because, first of all, no, they might not applaud when I come back. Secondly, what I'm afraid to talk? What if I forget how to talk? Well, some people would like that. But some things to do in the club that keep it exciting. First of all, do you have an education component in every meeting you have? And this is something that your district director will have seen when he read my book, because I remember having conversations with him right after my presentation, and he had lots of ideas flying around. And I also noted that 6 corporate programs were chartered the year that he was club growth director in the corporation. So congratulations for that, that are still there, as came up in the showcase. So add an education component in your meetings. So it's just like a general evaluator role, a speaker role, that take 3 minutes in every one of your meetings and have somebody on the agenda bring an education. Make sure it's communication or leadership relevant and have them teach a 3-minute lesson. It adds a learning, a new component to all the sessions. The other thing that I encourage clubs to do is really raise the bar on your evaluations. If your club is not known in District 20 or even in the region as the best evaluating club, then start and raise the bar, because that will keep people engaged, because there's something else for them to learn. Someone sees something more in them than they've already accomplished. Make sure that you have a very, very strong, powerful, supportive mentoring program, and work the mentoring program. Make sure that people, as soon as they join, get a mentor, and expect those mentors to be engaged. I'm only in Toastmasters because I had mentors that supported me and were there my entire 38 years. Now, they were different as time went on because I had different needs, but I always had a mentor and still do. The other thing that I would encourage in those clubs is to have, make sure that the items on your agenda are relevant to the workplace that you're in. So workplaces are different. So make sure that every item there is relevant. Ask yourself, what is the transferable skill that we get from this activity, this agenda item, and is that relevant? If not, use the time for something else. And the other thing that I would like to encourage is that I've seen a lot of clubs that do not evaluate table topics. And have a table topics evaluator. It's an advanced evaluation position because you're evaluating 5 or 6 impromptu speakers. It's one of those advanced roles that comes under the general evaluator role. So if I'm sitting there and I'm table topics evaluator, I can either, as an evaluator, evaluate each speaker specifically, or I could evaluate them as a group, like everybody had a great opening body conclusion. What I looked for today was people's transitions. And so I saw, here's some of the transitions I heard. And so I could actually teach a little bit in that evaluation about transitions if transitions weren't strong in the table topics. So again, it gives you a flexibility to take people to a different level of evaluation. So you always want to look for ways to challenge. The other thing to really think about in the corporate world is, how do you partner with the corporation? And we talk about accountability, and going back now into my office where I was the director of learning and development, I wanted to know that the Toastmasters program was existing. I wanted to know if I paid for Pat to go, that she was actually going and attending. I wanted to know what she was achieving. So I talk about this in my book. I asked, we developed a policy in the corporation where I last was about people having time and money. So the corporation paid for them, or they reimbursed them after 6 months if they met the criteria that they agreed to meet in that 6 months. And that included percentage of meetings attended and how many projects they would do within that 6 months. And so that was put in the people's individual performance review plans or performance development plans, whatever they're called in that environment. And so that was for each different employee with their supervisor. And so we had a government or corporate-wide policy that stated that we would have this agreement. It would be written into the performance reviews and covered by the supervisor. Upon completion, successful completion of those criteria, they would be reimbursed for their time and their time and the money for Toastmasters. So think about how we partner in the corporation to support and make the employees accountable. The other thing that does for us in the corporate world is that when the supervisor has been involved with setting those goals for that employee to achieve, they're not so keen to pull you out of the Toastmasters program on a weekly basis when they've agreed to you developing that skill. So you could say to your supervisor, I'm just off to the learning session for Toastmasters, and I have an 80% attendance goal in our agreement, and you want me to go to this other meeting. So you get to decide where I go, right? You can have that conversation with your supervisor because they've already said they expect you to be there 80% of the time. So it's a holding one another, at least to be able to put it on the desk for a discussion. And the supervisors are less inclined to pull you out randomly because they recognize that this is part of your development. So a couple of things to think about in terms of creating a dynamic environment in your club. A couple of things that I really think are important when we look at more of a macro level from Toastmasters International and a corporation. We really want to create a business relationship. Toastmasters International is going to bring the curriculum and a very unique way of delivery of that education. And the corporation's going to say, we'll put this into our training department. We're going to send people like we send them to other programs. So this is different than a lot of clubs have been set up. because my philosophy is that if the corporation wants us there, they are sending the employees to attend it. We're not going and finding it. Because do you go down, if you're going to a training session at work, say you're going to some software training at work that's related to your work. When you register for that, do they say, well, now you have to go and find 3 other people to bring to the training? No, we as students don't go and bring other students. That's the employer's responsibility. They provide it and they get the people to come. And yet Toastmasters, we set ourselves up that we think we have to go and find the people, the students for the program that we've joined. I say, don't do it that way. Set it up so that we're partner. We bring the curriculum, we bring the delivery, but the corporation sends the people. And then we bring reports back to them in terms of, employee A has done this in the last 3 months. Employee B has done this in the last 3 months. And we take reports back so that there's accountability, both for the employees, the participants in the program, but as well to the corporation. So it's thinking of how you can create that partnership and have a formal partnership where we bring the curriculum, they provide the people, and we bring our unique delivery method. And keeping it in mind that we want to be flexible enough that it fits into the culture of the organization. So ask lots of questions. Now, if you're in a club and you're rebuilding, you might want to take some of these ideas and have a discussion with your training or your HR department and see if you can reset it. Or you may want to contact your club growth director or your program quality or your district director and get some support. The word to the district team, I will say, that when you are rebuilding these programs in corporations, if you can go in and reset them, rather than having them look and behave like a community club and look at them from a corporate training program, I think that they get a better chance to be sustainable because we're not depending on 1 or 2 people in keeping a training program going in-house. And we then have a more formal back and forth with the corporation so that we have accountability with them and them with us. So I could go on for a long time about this, but I'm going to turn it back to our Master of Ceremonies. And thank you so much. I hope I've given you some things to think about if you're rebuilding an existing corporate Toastmaster program, or if you're looking at building a brand new one. And certainly if you're looking for ideas to rejuvenate your existing programs. So thank you so much for caring about your Toastmasters in the corporate world. And again, thank you so much to your district leadership team for inviting me to share my thoughts and some of my passion for this with you this morning. Over to you, Madam Ceremonies.
Thank you very much, DTM Pat. Amazing speech delivered by an amazing lady. Thank you very much. To present a memento of our appreciation, it is my great pleasure to welcome District 20 Director, DTM Muhammad Salim. DTM Salim, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It's my honor to present this award to DTM Pat Johnson. But this is something which we really need of the hour for many districts, for that matter. This can be published in YouTube and even through the Toastmasters channel, where it can reach to more members, and most of them can benefit out of it, not just District 20 actually. Just thank you very much, ma'am, for giving an opportunity to have you here. Thank you very much. It's a very small token of appreciation, but you deserve much more. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Muhammad Salim. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
We have come now to the next most exciting and interesting part of the summit, the panel discussion. The aim of today's panel discussion is to foster collaboration, offer new perspectives, and provide guidance for professional growth for any industry. To lead and ensure that the discussion remains on track, we have a moderator who will guide our brilliant set of panelists in the right direction to ensure the audience receive the most value. Toastmaster PG Gittins works as an executive assistant to the vice chairman and CEO at the Bukhamsin Group Holding Company, Kuwait, holding bachelor degree in computer science and engineering. And with over 10 years of work experience in Kuwait, she brings the knowledge and expertise of working in Western managed organization as an HR generalist to the local sector. Toastmaster Biji is also a certified HR professional. Please welcome our panel moderator with a warm round of applause. Toastmaster Biji, the floor is yours. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, beautiful MC Hanan Halouche. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed dignitaries of corporates, present leaders, past and future, members of Toastmasters Club. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome one and all to the panel discussion of the Corporate Summit 2021. Our goal through this panel discussion is to shed insight into corporate clubs, hear from real-life experience of successful corporate clubs and how it has transformed employees to gain that competitive advantage. And most importantly, how it benefits the organization. This is going to be one of the best panel discussions, and I'm going to need your help from the esteemed audience to ask the right questions to our panelists. Our panelists today will see us through that being part of this Toastmasters community is definitely an awarding experience. Let me introduce our panelists for this morning. DTM Kajetan Barreto, employed as General Manager for Dow, a software company based in Kuwait. He is a behavioral assessor and a passionate Toastmaster. He serves as a club sponsor and mentor for Dow and DUC Toastmasters Club in Kuwait. Welcome, Kajetan Barreto, DTM. Toastmaster Mara Mahmood. She's employed as an office manager at the Channel Kuwait Advertising Agency. She attributes her professional success to Toastmasters. Welcome, Toastmaster Mara Mahmood. DTM Lulwa Al-Muaili, employed at Gulf Petrochemical Industries Company in the capacity of a training supervisor at the Academy of Leadership and Learning in Bahrain. She has presented several lectures at schools and universities. Welcome, Lulwa Al-Muaili, DTM. Toastmaster Fatima Hussein, Petrochemical Company, as a senior process engineer, a recipient of a number of regional awards for the oil and gas industry, like LEWAS Rising Star Award. She has also led many youth initiatives in the regional oil and gas conferences. Help me welcome Fatima Hussein, Toastmaster. Thank you very much. Toastmaster Duha Al-Rumaydin, employed as a senior project coordination engineer at Kuwait National Petroleum Company, KNPC in Kuwait, a Toastmaster for 3 years. Knowing more people, practicing her skills, and being a mentor for new members is what Toastmasters helped her achieve. Welcome, Toastmaster Duha Al-Rumaydeen. And before we begin our panel discussion, I would also like to give credit to another member of our panelists, DTM Dataraya Gaje, who was employed at the Awal Gulf Manufacturing Company for the past 13 years and currently the financial controller. DTM Gaje had a minor accident with his leg. He's okay, but just going through a minor surgery this morning to treat the fracture and unable to join this panel. However, we'd like to extend the support and thankfulness to DTM Gaje for helping us through this summit. We pray for his quick and speedy recovery. To complete this team of expert panelists, we have another expert and passionate Toastmaster, DTM Pat Johnson. I would like to invite DTM Pat Johnson to also be in a discussion with the panelists. Thank you very much. I present to you the expert panel. So now let's dive into the panel discussion. DTM Pat Johnson, how are you today? Good morning. Such a pleasure to be with you, madam. Great. I have a question from our audience for you. How can we prioritize Toastmasters, especially in this pandemic times when it's all about survival? How can that be a priority for us, especially in the organizations? Let me unmute you, or moderator, please. Thank you. We're good to go now, Madam Pat. Sorry for the interruption. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If we look at if the organization is involved in knowing that Toastmasters is there and they're developing skills that are transferable to the workplace, and that we can get it to a place where it has the same status as any other education program that's happening in the corporation that's building skills for our employees, then I think that provides some accountability, both on the employer's part to send their people and make sure that they attend the training that they're supporting and they expect the skills to come out of. The other thing that is important to be realistic, if no other training is happening at this point in time in the corporation because of the circumstances in the organization, I think it's quite unrealistic to expect that Toastmasters would be the only training program happening. So I think we have to be looking at what's actually happening in the organization. If other training's taking place, then it may be that we just haven't positioned the Toastmaster program in an accountable way with the corporation. So that's what I would reset that with them. And then if it's in the performance review plans, if it's in the HR plan, if it's recognized as part of the training program, then I think that it happens.
Thank you very much. So it's all about setting that foundation within the organization from the very beginning.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you very much, DTM Pat. I would like to address the next question to Toastmaster Fatima Hussain. Toastmaster Fatima, how can you add value to Toastmasters, to your corporate organization during this pandemic time? Hold on, moderator, can we? Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay, for the question. So during COVID times, let's see, the whole purpose, as DTM Pat said, of having a corporate club is for the employees to work on their leadership and public speaking skills. Now, during COVID times, these requirements have not changed. We still need to have leaders and communicators who can do their job behind screens. So since COVID has started, speaking from personal experience, our meetings have gone online. So all of our club meetings have gone online. We never skipped a meeting. And by this, our employees are able to still work on their digital leadership skills and communication skills. In addition to that, we have expanded our outreach to the employees' children. So through BAPCO's youth leadership program, so the YLP, we had more than 50 young adults who were, again, working on their communication leadership skills behind screens, which was wonderful. Other ways that corporate Toastmasters Club can help is through running workshops. And this is something that we've done in BAPCO for the employees on how to deliver technical presentations behind screens. So this is all related to COVID. And this is all the requirements that we need in these times. Back to you, Toastmaster BG.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fatma Hussein. Absolutely well said. You pull in the family, you get the members, their support, and definitely encouraging the digital skills. That's definitely an add-on this time during pandemic. Thank you very much for your answer. I would like to request from our next panelist, DTM Lulwa Al-Maeli. DTM Lulwa, what are the benefits of the in-house Toastmasters Club for your employees? Well, I say specifically for your employees and the management, in your opinion. DTM Lulwa?
Thank you, Toastmaster BG, for the question. For our, as we are aware, the human capital, the most valuable part of any organization, and they drive the business. For us, having corporate Toastmaster Club provides the opportunity to our employees to enhance their communication skills, their leadership skills, their listening skills, and also they are sharpening their presentation skills, coaching, and mentoring skills. You are having better negotiator, better communicator within the organization. The management also have gained a lot. They have gained better leaders and higher productivity and effective future managers. Having the advantage of a corporate club will give us the chance to tailor-made the Toastmaster program to benefit our own requirements. Also at GBIC, we are very fortunate to have the support of Dr. Abdulrahman Jawahiri and his management team since the establishment of our Toastmaster Club. We are using the essence of Toastmaster to create those leaders and graduate leaders, actually, because the program, as we call it, is like a big study, and they graduate afterwards to participate effectively in GBIC committees. We have variety of committees to contribute in the Bahraini community, various societies and initiatives, such as volunteering with Injaz Bahrain, the YLB program, providing and giving lectures, and also they present workshops and papers regionally and locally. So this is all from my side, and back to you.
Okay, thank you. Mute, unmute. Thank you very much, DTM Lulwa. Wow, definitely the human investment and resource is the backbone of a community, and at GPIC we see that growth. Thank you very much. To build, use Toastmasters tailor-made program for your community, for your organization, definitely a plus. Thank you very much for your insight into that. I would now like to direct the next question to Toastmaster Duha Al-Ramadeen. Toastmaster Duha, what are some of the challenges that your club has faced before and now during the pandemic time, and how are you overcoming those?
Yes, for this question, actually, I just like to give you a small brief about KNPC. KNPC is a quite large company with 2 refineries, 2 depots, and a head office. Actually, our meetings always conducted in our head office previously, and to drive through from our refineries or our workplaces to our head office, it will take about 20 to 30 minutes to reach there. So we were having some troubles for starting on time and to continue our meetings without any, work-related issues or interruptions. So for that, and thanks for the pandemic, when we transferred to or switched to virtual meetings, we have all of our members starting the meeting from their own workplace, or actually if they are working at home, even if they are on vacation, they are able to join our meetings. So it was now more dynamic and more fluent to join our meetings and start the meetings. And for the, we'll say the only problem or the issue we are having right today, our current members are really just lost their interest in the virtual meetings rather than the physical meetings earlier. Now, as an Exum, as a member of an Exum team, we are working to find it out and how to bring back the spirit to continue our club mission or vision, like with a more interest way. So back to Toastmaster BG.
Thank you, Toastmaster Doha. Indeed, your club has definitely joined the support in seeing you today. KNPC is definitely amidst our midst this morning. Thank you very much. The pandemic has brought all of us closer. Thank you for sharing that insight. Thank you very much. Let me direct the next question to our next panelist, Toastmaster Marah Al Mahmoud. What is the importance or give us your experience of how you were able to prioritize Toastmasters in your organization?
Thank you for the question, Toastmaster BG. I mean, that pandemic was and still a struggle that has changed our entire lives. Regarding the work field, we learned how to adapt with the new pandemic and with this era. What I want to inform you that how I learned to adapt was implementing the skills that I have learned in Toastmasters in my work field. As everything has changed, we need minds to think and innovate new ideas in order to adapt with the circumstances that we're facing. Therefore, being an innovative person, being an adaptive person is something that I have learned in Toastmasters. Although I did not study anything related to business, but I was able to gain experience related to that, and I try to do my best and give ideas in a great way that anyone can receive and, let's say, accept or think about it. So I influenced with the let's say the suggestions that I gave in order to reach at the end to a great way to continue the work. So yes, Toastmasters really helps in adapting and in work field, and yes, it is important to prioritize it in real life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Marah Mahmoud. We see the different experiences from our panelists of how Toastmasters really holds that importance, even yesterday during the non-COVID era and today, which is a new normal. Thank you very much to all the panelists. Let's hear from DTM Kajatan Barreto. DTM Kajatan, now you've heard from all of our panelists, some of the members do not like to attend virtual meetings as opposed to physical meetings because the whole social aspect is missing and you don't have that sort of a fun nature. So coming from the IT field, one of the main challenges that companies and organizations are facing is to integrate employees working from office and then those as opposed to those working from home. And how can we achieve this in your opinion?
Thank you. When it comes to the current situation, because first of all, Toastmasters is best done when it is in person. But because of the situation that we are in and being forced to work either from home, some of us are working from the office, corporates actually have a good opportunity these days to use this technology that they have, especially to create hybrid meetings. In Dow, for example, we were the first company in the region, at least in the district, to demonstrate how we could use all of the equipment that we have lying around to bring people who are working in the office and those who are forced to work from home, bring them all together in this hybrid environment and continue developing the skills that we want to aspire in a corporate club, which is basically to give great presentations, to communicate with our customers. And that is something that I have found very useful because we are constantly getting feedback, what we are doing right, what we are not doing right. And based on that feedback, we continuously keep improving. So in my opinion, right now is a good challenge and a good opportunity for corporate clubs to adapt, first of all, to the new normal that is going to happen, and build leaders and communicators who can effectively talk to their customers, their vendors, their stakeholders in this environment to be the best that you can be and still be on top. Over to you.
Thank you very much to DTM Kajetan Barreto. Yes, presentation skills that go a long way, and feedback from the organization employees and our fellow members in the community always helps us improve. Thank you very much for sharing those insights. It's definitely so good to see everybody this morning. Now, I would like to open the floor to our audience. If you would like to ask any questions, this is the opportunity to get all those answered. So we have DTM Muhammad Salim has raised his hand. So let me just go ahead and yes, DTM Muhammad.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Can I think I'm audible?
Yes.
Yes, this question is to DTM Pat Johnson actually, because during her presentation, she mentioned that one of the corporate came back to her and asked about the Toastmaster who has been attending meetings for 2 years and hasn't got any certification or not completed, or it's an ongoing program. Because now what happens to corporate is that they wanted results. Because for example, when we register any member of our company in Tamkeen, they expect results. They need a certification program within a confined period. So in this context, actually, I recommend that Toastmasters International can bring in certification programs. This was earlier discussed with DTM Murad in 2012, wherein Toastmasters can tie up with any university or institution to bring in certification, bachelor program, master program, and PhD program. For example, being in 18 years into Toastmasters, all I have is a title of DTM, wherein Toastmasters can have a program, certification or program wherein I can do my master's degree, or I can even do my PhD in communication. So this will really help the corporates, the community clubs to have members, benefiting out of it, rather than being called a CC or a AC or a DTM. It would really add value to their curriculum when they go for interviews. This is really, which is been put on papers since 2012. Again, the point is, there is one slide I wish to share. I have requested Manisha to share a slide. She can do that. This year I had initiated a program wherein we can give it to corporates for a 6 months period of program. We can sell one path. Selling in the sense like giving it to corporate, selling that you can do this program, complete this program in 6 months with a $75 cap. That's it. You just need to pay $75. Again, it's a self-paced program, and this can be this is the individual's responsibility to complete within 6 months one complete path. For example, visionary communication. This is something which we need the acceptance from the board, so that this program can be started in this year itself for a period of 6 months. I think I'm clear with the question. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, DT Muhammad Salim, for that encouragement. Let's move on to our next guest here. We have Mr. Ibrahim Talib, who is the BAPCO Deputy Chief Executive. Mr. Ibrahim Talib. Yes. I have requested you to unmute. You can just click on that. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, can hear you, and you're
Thank you very
welcome. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mr. Ibrahim.
You see?
Yes.
Okay. Apologies again. It's all new realities that we have to deal with. So good morning to all. Thank you very much, PG. Thank you very much, DTM and Madam President Pat, and all the Toastmasters. My questions really is based on a really great experience that I have personally been enjoying over the past many years with the Babco Toastmaster Club. And really, as I said, I mean, if anything, if I can use it, because I've said good things about them, I think it's time that to say that they are predictable and contagious. I'm just talking about it in the terms of the pandemic, but they are predictable in terms of their consistency, their excellence, their teamwork, and their enthusiasm. Really great bunch. And they're contagious, and in terms of ensuring this enthusiasm is as well spread all over the organization. Great work. My question is really, how can we take a very good and excellent Toastmaster club to even further and embed it in the organization? And my job, I mean, I really want to, as you quite rightly said, Pat, is just not keep this wealth of knowledge, this spirit and the teamwork confined in a club, but also try to spread it more. And I've actually been given this challenge to the Toastmasters, and they have actually taken it, but I want to just take it to this next level. Is it by putting it in our own competencies as an organization and address it formally? So I just wanted to have some thoughts around that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. I would request the Tim Pat Johnson to please address that for Mr. Ibrahim. So his question was, how can we take this excellent Toastmasters program even further and try to embed it in the organization? Share the wealth. How can we do that?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. Those are magical words that every organizer that goes into a corporation wants to hear from a corporation. How can we make it more part of our organization? And, you know, as I was saying at the beginning, for me, it's really developing a partnership with the organization, both between Toastmasters and the corporation. I liken it to if I'm a consultant and I'm coming in and I'm coming in as a training consultant and I have a curriculum that I want to, and you want me to deliver to your employees, how would you set that up? And in that very same way, we could set up the Toastmasters curriculum so that the organization is actually talking to the supervisors and managers and letting them know the skills that Toastmasters will develop in their employees so that they're then sending employees to the Toastmasters program. And then there's many opportunities within organizations from my experience where we can recognize people that excel, people that then start to get promotions in our organization, that we can acknowledge that so-and-so was promoted and they're a member of Toastmasters. Some organizations also make it part of their new employee orientation program. So when the new employee comes in and they're hired, they're actually told that this organization believes in the development of our employees' communication and leadership skills. And so we have an experiential program called Toastmasters that we encourage our employees to belong to. And we support them in this way, whether you pay or give them time or however that works. So that's another effective way that that the organization themselves can put their stamp on it and their stamp of approval right at that very first orientation of those new employees. So I think through recognition and also embedding it into some of the things that the organization either publishes or puts on. I've seen where new employees come in for orientation and actually somebody from Toastmasters comes and speaks and explains about the program. And then somebody like a vice president or the president or the CEO or CFO comes in and actually talks about the type of support that they give to the employees if they belong to Toastmasters. So I think we have to think of what your environment is, and me not knowing your environment, those are just some general suggestions of where you can start to look for things that you as a corporation could do. And the other whole important is to let it be known in your organization, if you're the person of influence, that people should not be pulled out of training to go to a meeting, that they're in training for a purpose, that's for we're looking after our human capacity, right? Our human workers that are going to be there and make our business successful. So we're training them to be the best that they can be. So again, it shows support for that learning. Thank you. I hope that helps.
Thank you very much, DT and Pat, for sharing that insight to the corporates. We definitely appreciate that. I have one question from one of our Toastmaster members, Dinesh Kumar. So he asks me, what are the common challenges that a corporate club is facing? Now, he comes from the ASSP, which is the American Society of Safety Professionals Club. He says, what are the common challenges that some of the clubs face? So let me direct that question to Toastmaster Fatma Hussain. What are some of the challenges that a corporate clubs face?
Thank you very much. I think there are many challenges that a corporate club faces, but it also depends on how is the corporate club is set up. There are some corporate clubs who are meeting within working hours. There are some corporate clubs who are meeting outside of working hours. There are some clubs that are, the employees are assigned to go to that club, like forcefully. And then there are clubs in which the employees go there and volunteer their time. So each different kind of club have different kind of challenges. For us in Babco Toastmasters Club, we have our meetings outside of working hours. All our members are volunteering their time. Our executive committee are volunteering their time to be there. So it's a matter of trying to retain these members and make sure that they do attend in each and every meeting. And so by that, we need to make our meetings more lively, more happy, and with lots of learning. So it's mainly retention, which might be the next thing to have. Retention and attracting new employees who are not forced to be there, but rather would like to be there. Back to you, Toastmaster BG.
Thank you very much. That's all the why in the Toastmasters. Why are you a Toastmaster? As Pam echoed. So yeah, that I can't tell you why I'm in Toastmasters, but my family knows this. I don't know, but it's just something that everybody has a unique answer to. Let me go on with another question as we have just about 5 minutes time and we just address with all the panelists. Now, DTM Lulwa, I also like to quote some of the words from Muhammad Salim. He said that there was under the leadership, Dr. Salim, who supported Toastmasters in your organization, their employees with the promotion based on their graduation within Toastmasters. So you come from a very a corporate that puts Toastmasters also in the forefront, like all the corporate organizations. At GPIC, is the affiliation with Toastmasters compulsory or a choice? And just to touch, the Toastmaster Fatima had already touched upon retention. So just, is it a compulsory or a choice at your organization? DTM Lulwa.
Thank you for the question, Toastmaster BG. Actually, it's both. At GPIC, it's both because, as I mentioned before, at GPIC, we strongly believe in Toastmaster power. So we made it a must for all the new recruits to attend Toastmaster. It's part of their training and development program to be a Toastmaster. As a bilingual club, we have the opportunity to develop the communication skill of our employees in both Arabic and English. So the club is open also for all the employees who wish to develop their own skill. And by that, we are maintaining our membership by having the must attend, the new recruit, and also all the employees can join the club. I hope I answered the question, and back to you.
Yes, thank you very much, DTM Lulwa, definitely answered. Let me look at Toastmaster Duha. Oh, what is the future of your club? Where do you see your club maybe in the next year or 2 years? Let me unmute you. Okay, great.
Thank you. As a leader of, we'll say, a Toastmaster.
Oh, sorry. Hold on 1 second, please. 1 second. Okay.
Okay. In KMBC Toastmaster Club, we are the only Toastmaster club in K companies in Kuwait. So for that, we took the lead to start an initiative, the Toastmaster clubs, to all other K companies in Kuwait. And for that, we are looking to be mentors for other K companies club if they started, or to merge in with other companies to enlarge our club and to gain more members and to be more, we'll say, more lively. So we like really to join with other K companies and to enlarge our community and to be, we'll say, one of the largest K company or corporate clubs in the region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It always begins with one person to make that change. So thank you very much, Toastmaster Duha. Let me direct the next question to Toastmaster Mara. What are the skills that you have picked up being a Toastmaster in your corporate club?
Yes, see, regarding my club, it's related to university. We're OU, Arab Open University in Kuwait, and most of, or maybe all of our members are students. So some of them are also tutors at the university. So dealing with them and finding that friendly environment where tutors and students are equal and the same, and sometimes the student is an evaluator for the tutor. So this friendly environment can help the member in general to develop him or herself. And that, of course, will help in the future to deal with other people. So some of the skills that I learned, as I said, is dealing with people no matter their age or their position, and also creating that great environment where students are encouraged, because we are focusing on the students. We are giving them a path where they can follow and find themselves in it. So basically, our club is for the students at the university to develop themselves. Thank you, our moderator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mara. Education is the key, and the university definitely is a stronghold for that. Thank you very much. Second last question to our panelists, DTM Kajatan. I just want to check with you, what are some of the steps that you took to charter a club in this pandemic time?
Hi, thank you for that question. As far as chartering is concerned, I don't think there is any difference. As Pat Johnson has clearly explained to us, it's more about the company, the management buying into the program. The chartering process is one of the easiest one. I have done it for my own club, and recently we chartered a new club during the pandemic, which is, in fact, we are having the first meeting later in the evening, and I'll probably be in my same suit ready for the next meeting. And so the chartering process, as I said, it has not remained any difference. In fact, there is an incentive from Toastmasters where they waive off the chartering fees. But that really, in my opinion, is not such an issue at a corporate level, because we are talking about money or fees that are something that can be considered as you pay from your petty cash. It's such a low entry barrier for starting a club. The focus should be more about who is going to be in that club. And again, I will align with what Pat Johnson had said, that should be a commitment, and there should be members who understand what they are getting into, and they join the club because they know what are the benefits. Don't just sign up members because it's so cheap to do it, because it's so easy to get the sign off from your MD for $500, $600. They wouldn't even think about it as a fees. But what are you actually adding as value? Members see that and say, okay, I want this. I want to improve the way I speak to my customers. I want to deliver my presentations, my sales pitch in a way that I can close it. So those are the transferable skills I will gain. So I will join, and then you can have that thriving club. So chartering process, in my opinion, is a very minor aspect of the entire process, but building the club of members who are interested to become better communicators and leaders, that's where the key is. Over to you.
Thank you indeed for sharing your insight and taking the initiative to build clubs during this time, even though we're all apart. Thank you very much to all our panelists. One final question to DTM Pat Johnson before we wrap up the program is that, for me, would it be beneficial if I take a training from an institution outside versus training in Toastmasters? So this is some of the concern that employees may have. What is the benefit of training through Toastmasters versus just an organization outside? Because we have so many virtual institutions. So how does Toastmaster go ahead of that?
Yes, well, I think that this is dealing, particularly as Dan Rex, our Chief Executive Officer, says, this is the secret sauce of Toastmasters, is that we don't just read a book or get knowledge, but we actually have experiential learning, that we help people build the skills in Toastmasters. So during my years in Toastmasters, what I discovered as I was going through various roles and building my leadership skills is Toastmasters identified some things that I also needed to develop beyond the specialization that I could get in Toastmasters. So I identified that I was afraid of confrontation in conflict. So I went away and I went to a special school that does, the Justice Institute, that does conflict resolution, mediation, and negotiation. And I did a certificate in that. And I brought those skills back to my workplace as well as to Toastmasters. But it was the Toastmasters experience and that learning that was experiential that identified the gap I had. And so I also combined outside education, but then I brought it back to Toastmasters, where then I could practice it and get good at it and implement it. And then it showed up in my workplace. So Toastmasters is that a laboratory where we get to practice things. We get to try them out before we show up at work or in front of an audience, a larger audience. And so that is the unique part of Toastmasters. And that's where our value is created, that we actually practice and get feedback, and then practice again and get more feedback, and continually doing that.
Wow. Thank you, Toastman, DTM Pat Johnson, for that insight. We have the secret sauce, Toastmasters. Hooray, yes. Thank you very much, DTM Pat, to all the panelists, to the keynote speakers, to the awesome audience for making this panel discussion one of the best. I hope you have some takeaway messages to take with you to your employees, to your organizations, and to the management. This is the future, as Pat Johnson mentioned. We do innovative things, get unstuck, and then go ahead and get creative. The Toastmasters self-paced program is for you and your employees to make sure that they're ready for the future. There is accountability. There is so much transfer of skills that can only help the organization soar through to higher heights, especially during this pandemic time. And all the gaps are covered. Best. That's great. Toastmasters International definitely works very hard to provide that foundation and the benefits to be able to lead you yourself as members and your organizations to greater heights. Indeed, this is where leaders are made. Thank you very much to our audience. I would now like to hand over to the awesome Master of Ceremonies, Hanan Haloush.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster PG. Amazing session conducted by an amazing Toastmaster PG, conducted so professionally. Thank you very much. Gratitude is the first blossom that springs from the soul and the least articulate of emotions. Today, to translate this emotion into words, my friend and fellow member, all the way from Kuwait, senior technical consultant by profession, ardent debater, and coach of many budding Toastmasters. He serves as our head of education. To propose a vote of thanks and recognize distinguished contributions, please help me to welcome distinguished Toastmaster Alan Paul. Over to you, DTM Alan.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Hanan, for that mesmerizing introduction. We have indeed created history today with this mega event that's the first of its kind in the district. This wouldn't have been possible without the team responsible for their unconditional support during the past few weeks and during the event. We would firstly like to thank the District ExCom led by our District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Mohammed Salim, our Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah, our Public Relations Manager, Toastmaster Maram Al-Aradi, for helping us with the posters and promoting it on the District account, and of course, our District Admin Manager, Toastmaster Rashid Maimun, for his support. Our role players today gave their time and support to make sure that you have an unforgettable experience. And we have made a very special video for the team and those who have supported us today. Moderator, can we please share the video? Moderator, is it okay? Everyone has been doing a fantastic video, fantastic job so far. Our panel moderator did an amazing job keeping everything on track. Our Master of Ceremonies, she has been so professional, and especially coming from a corporate background, we couldn't find anyone better than you to do this. Our timers, Toastmaster Rosemary, as well as Dr. Asha, for keeping everything on track. They were so precise and concise, and of course, our moderators led by Toastmaster Naga, Toastmaster Vishal Edward Khan, and Toastmaster Mazrul for keeping everything on check, as well as Zoom. I know we had a few instances where we couldn't, where there were disturbances, but they kept everything on check. And of course, our lovely panelists for their contribution and support to make this a grand success. Also, last but not the least, our event chair. I am from Kuwait and she's from Bahrain, and I thought, you know, being a DTM, you have seen it all, but working with different countries, you get to learn and experience a lot. And for me, I haven't seen a work style as such, like how our event chair was doing it. She was so precise, she was very motivating, she was so encouraging, and that is none other than our Toastmaster Manisha Leonardo. So thank you, wonderful team. I believe the video will be coming soon, but if in case, we will be sharing that towards the end. All right. Thank you, everyone, once again, and back to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much, DTM Alan. It is now time for us to hear from our honorable guests. It would be a great honor to hear from the corporate dignitaries who have graced us with their presence. Now, unfortunately, we are going over time, so we are going to share a link in the chat for all the honorable guests to share their feedback, because as Toastmasters, it's a learning experience every day. But I'm going to call one guest only, and mind me for that, but we are short in time. Help me welcome, to get his feedback, the Honorable Mr. Ibrahim Talib. He is Babco Deputy Chief Executive. Mr. Ibrahim Talib, please, can you share your feedback with us?
Certainly. Salam alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much indeed. I mean, it's been, again, another fantastic and overwhelming experience, quite frankly. Just similar to the experiences I have every time, almost every time that I attend one of those really well-planned and at times impromptu event as it's coming from this fine group of professionals. It's been and continues to be a pleasure. As I said it every time, I truly believe that Toastmasters movement, and it is a movement very much so, should be really utilized on a much greater scale. The benefits that are there, and it's already been addressed by the panelists, by Pat, by each and every one, it's really, it's a big shame just to keep it bottled in one place or on one space. We need to spread the wealth, and we need to actually spread this fantastic spirit of teamwork, enthusiasm, and really just openness to go on the challenge. I've seen nothing short of, quite frankly, miraculous transformation of colleagues, brothers and sisters. And it's really, by spreading it, you're really giving the opportunity to others not to be deprived of this bliss, I would say. So all I can say is that I'm a true believer, and our corporate team as well, and Babco, Bahrain Petroleum Company, are very much believers in the value that Toastmaster clubs add to the person as a professional and as a person. I personally have learned either on a personal level and a professional level, and I learn each and every time I come. And to give you an example, I'm going to, one of the takeaway in here, I'm going to take this kind of educational moment, which is the 3 minutes that Pat have been talking about. We do a safety moment. I'm going to have an educational moment in my meetings going forward. One. Number two, again, this how to inculcate the Toastmaster as part of our culture, but I'd like to do it in a more formal. And I know when I say more formal, there's two things in here. It's a bit of weighing on the current clubs, which I need to manage, but we need to make sure and reassure support from our side. And I give this call actually to all my colleague corporate teams as well. The value is really great. As I said, in bringing the professional as a person and as a professional and as a position, and it can only mean for the betterment of the whole organization and the country. Thank you very much. It's been a delightful morning for me, and I thank each and everyone for the spirit and the enthusiasm that you've given me personally. I'm charged for a month now, so thank you very much indeed. God bless you. Ma salama.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim Talib. It's really an honor for me to meet a decision maker in Bahrain who has this mindset and the buy-in of Toastmaster International. Amazing. And I hope the same mindset will be also spread not only in Bahrain and Kuwait, but also all around the world. It all depends on us as Toastmaster to spread that culture. Thank you very much for your input and for your feedback. As night follows the day and all good things have to end, we are now at the end of this summit. I can see DTM Allen is raising his hand.
Yes, we have a small video to share. Yes.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Thank you, Hannah.
You don't want to end the day, huh?
No, not without thanking our support, our backbone,
absolutely,
the role players for their unconditional support to make this event a grand. And last but most importantly, we would like to thank our viewers for being present for this historic event. We are utilizing the best of what online meetings have to offer, isn't it? With that, I would like to hand over back to our Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much. Even we as Toastmaster, we bend the technology, don't you think so? Absolutely. Toastmaster, nothing stops in our way. Everything can be utilized for our benefit and also all the society around us. Now, as night
say mashallah, Toastmaster Hanan. Toastmaster Hanan,
being here, DTM Khaled, of course. The blessing is always there.
I do apologize on the taking over. Can we just as well recognize those 3 awards that we said we would recognize? Yes, sure. Moderator. Sorry, Toastmaster Hanan. So should I? Okay, yes, fine. Please. So the highest number of registration brought in today was by KMPC. Wow, amazing. I could not really count all of the number of the KMPC representatives that came in here today. So thank you so much for KMPC specifically and for all other clubs as well to participate and to try it out as well here today and this morning. Can we move on to the next recognition? And yes, so they took both. So the highest number as well of registration per club goes as well to KMPC. Thank you so much, KMPC Toastmasters, for gracing our occasion today. And last but not the least, the highest number of management attendance goes to Babco. Thanks to our management. Okay, I should be here impartial and say thanks to Babco management for being here and supporting this occasion and not, again, being as well partial a little bit. It's not just here. Babco management is known for supporting us in the club and throughout. Thank you so much, Mr. Brahim Talib, for being here and gracing our occasion. Thank you so much. And yes, over to you, Master.
Thank you very much, DTM Khaled. Before I continue, anyone would like to say anything? Have missed a comment or something? Because I'm reading the conclusion twice, so the third time has to be the last time. Okay, so here in mind,
for handling so professionally this event, I would like to invite all of our attendees to fill the feedback form. Your feedback is very valuable to us, and you can give your feedback to our keynote speaker DTM Pat also via this feedback form. The link for the feedback form has been shared on the chat group. I invite all of you to go click the link and fill the feedback form. Back to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Great. Thank you very much, Event Chair. As night follows day and all good things have to end, we are now at the end of this summit. On behalf of the organizing committee, I thank you all for spending this time with us. Your presence has helped us make this event a great success, and we appreciate your enthusiasm and your positive spirit. We hope you found the event informative and motivating. We wish you all the best and hope that you will continue to be connected to the Toastmasters community in Bahrain and in Kuwait. I would like to conclude with a quote by Toastmaster International founder, Dr. Ralph C. Smedley. Communication leads to the discovery of hidden abilities, broadens the person's conception of how to live with people. It brings out for use the leadership traits and abilities, and thus helps to prepare the individual to be a leader. Goodbye, and see you next time.
Please stay for the group photo also. We would love to have everyone for our group photo. Please switch on your cameras. Wow, a lot many faces. Let's see that smile while we click the photo in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Say cheese.
Cheese.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, and see you all. Thank you, DT Impact.
Thank you, everyone, for being around. We do apologize that we will not be able to switch on or keep the unmute on. But for anyone who would like to say anything, I can see Toastmaster Marah. Toastmaster Marah, I'll unmute you, please. Yes, Toastmaster
Hi.
Marah.
Yes, I'm here. Can you repeat because I did not hear?
No, I thought because you raised your hand, I thought you were about to say something.
Oh, no. I was waving. Thank
Ah,
you for the
okay.
great summit.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
everyone.
much, DT and Pat, from the bottom of my heart. You made this event successful by your contribution. And well, even if I say whatever I would say, I will not really give justice to your contribution and to all of your guidance throughout the session. Thank you so much for being here today with us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for the honor of being part of it. Thank you. And I'm always here to support the district.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Take care.
Thank you,
Best
DT.
wishes.
It was a great learning for us, and we really got good comments even in our WhatsApp groups. We will share it with you. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much. I'll sign off. Goodbye. Hope
Goodbye,
to see
DT and
you
Pat.
in person.
Goodbye. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Bye.
Anyone would like to say anything before we close? Can we maybe stop
Yes.
the recording in here?